Bhante first asking for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Okas vandami Bhante varatayena mayankatam sabaparadham kam tume Bhante dutiyampi okas vandami Bhante varatayena mayankatam sabaparadham kam tume Bhante तत्यम्पि ओकासवन्दामि भन्ते वारतयेन मया गतं सभापराधं खं तु मे भन्ते. Bhante now asking for precept. ओकास अहं भन्ते तिसरणेन स पञ्चशीलं धम्मं याचामि अनुगहं कृत्वा शीलं देथ मे भन्ते. द्वितीयम्पि ओकास अहं भन्ते तिसरणेन सह पञ्चशीलं धम्मं याचामि अनुगहं कृत्वा शीलं देथ मे भन्ते. तृतीयम्पि ओकास अहं भन्ते तिसरणेन सह पञ्चशीलं धम्मं याचामि अनुगहं कृत्वा शीलं देथ मे भन्ते.
Yamahang vadami tvang vadetha.
अहं भन्ते.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स. नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स. नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
संघं शरणं गच्छामि.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
द्वितीयम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
द्वितीयम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
द्वितीयम्पि सङ्घं शरणं गच्छामि.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
तृतीयम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
तृतीयम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
तृतीयम्पि सङ्घं शरणं गच्छामि.
Saranagamanang sampunnang
आम्भन्ते.
panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
पाणातिपाता वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि.
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
अदिन्नदाना वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि.
Kamesu miccāchārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
कामेषु मिच्छाचारा वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि.
Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
मूसावादा वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि.
Pisuna vācā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
पिशुना वाचा वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि.
Parusā vācā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
परुषा वाचा वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि.
Sampappalāpā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
सम्पप्पलापा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि
मिच्छा आजीवा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादियामि
मिच्छाजीवा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि
තිසරණේන සද්ධෙන් ආජීවාට්ඨමක ධම්මං සාදුකං සුරක්ඛිතං කତ୍වා අපමාදේන සම්පාදේ තබ්බං
आमन्ते
සාතස්
साधु साधु साधु
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස සංඛප්ප රාගෝ පුරිසස්ස කාමෝ නතේ කාමායානි චිත්‍රානි ලෝකේ තිට්ඨන්ති චිත්‍රානි තතේව ලෝකේ අතෙත්ත දීරා විනයන්තු ඡන්දන්ති. Dear devotees, subject to the discourse today, the mirage of desires. The meaning of the stanza we preached today, Sankhapa Ragho Purisasa Kamo. The thought of lust is a person's sensuality. Nate Kamayani Chitrani Luke. The beautiful things in the world are not sensuality. Tittanti Chitrani Tateva Luke. The beautiful things in the world remain just as they are. Atetadhira Pinayantu Chandang. The wise one removes the desire for them. I'll tell you an example to understand this further. If I show you a rose in my hand, the desire to the rose is not a beautiful thing. Nathe kamayani chitrani loke. The desire is not a exquisite thing in the world. Tittant chitrani attateva loke. The beautiful things remains as they are. The beauty of the rose remains as they are, but the desire is just a thought, the mental construct we are doing from our own mind. So by understanding this, the wise one removes the desire of the sensuality. This is what I preached in this stanza. So Lord Buddha has proclaimed the desires are like a mirage. You know, in a mirage, we see something so exquisite in front of us. In a warm day, we can see there is some water in front of the road, but once we reach there, it vanishes. And again, it shows us there is no water, but if I reach that destination, the water will be there. This is how our desires works. Always our desires shows us something so exquisite, but once we gain it, at that very point, the desire, that exquisiteness vanishes. You might have so many examples for that in your day-to-day life. As an example, before you buy a new phone, or can you remember the first time you bought a smartphone? The smartphone was a kind of a so exquisite thing for you. But once you gain it, at the first time after you gain a smartphone, that desire, that exquisiteness vanishes. It is in the same manner for each and every aspect of our life. If you, even your marriage also like that. After you gain someone, after you, before you gain someone, you feel that, oh, that he or she is so exquisite. There is something so exquisite in her or him. But once you gain him or her, at that very point, that exquisiteness vanishes. I'm not talking about love. The love can be remain because of the gratitude or something. But I'm talking about the exquisiteness, that greatness which had in your heart, it will vanish once we reach any kind of desire. But after that, our mind shows us again, this is not exquisite, this is not uh, satisfying me, but if I gain that one or that person or that profession, after that I can be happy. This is how our desires works. It's like a mirage, shows something so exquisite, but once reached there, it vanishes, then again shows us. But if I get another thing that will satisfy me, that will fulfill me. So that is the main thing Prince Siddhartha understood in his life. As you heard in Buddhist literature, it shows Prince Siddhartha had 3 palaces called Ramya, Suramya, Subha. Each palace is like one palace is 3 floors palace, another one is 5 floors palace, another one is 7 floors palace. So those palaces, each of palace can the quantity of the ground floor, 40,000 people can sit in the ground. That much each palace is they are so big like that. And in Buddhist literature, that they say um, the Prince Siddhartha had 40,000 mistresses to his to serve him for each and every aspect. So that kind of a luxurious life he lived. But he also understand the mirage of desires. Can we have a look to his lifestyle? As an example, as a comparison, we can think um, once Prince Siddhartha wake up in the morning with Princess Yashodhara, in within several minutes, the being with Yashodhara might be boring to him. Then he will go for a bath with his servants. After taking a bath with servants, will make him again boring. There is nothing again. Then again, he'll think, oh, if I have a good royal food, that will satisfy me, and go and try that also. But it also will um, not fulfill him. Then again, another desire, have a horse ride. After 1 hour, 1.5 hours, it also become not fulfilling. So this is how our life goes, mourning to the death and birth to the birth to the death and morning to the night. We are constantly changing the experiences and trying to fulfill us. As an example, in the early morning, if you can consider it as a free day, in a free day, once you wake up in the morning, you'll think, um, staying in the bed will satisfy me. Then you will try it for 1 or 2 hours, staying in the bed. But after 1 or 2 hours, the staying in the bed will become a suffer, and you will realize, if I have a cup of tea, that would satisfy me. Then you will try that. But after drinking a half of the you'll realize it is not going to satisfy me again. Then your mind again tell you, if I have a, uh, if I take a watch in my phone or some videos, it can make me happy or satisfied. Then you try it also. Then again, after 1 hour or else, you'll realize it is not going to satisfy me. Then you will try to listen to music. That is also become boring after a few hours. This is how, morning to the night, our mind constantly changing the experiences and seeking for the happiness, seeking for the fulfillment in our life. But I'll tell you, whatever you do, it is not gonna satisfy you anyway. And the next thing, we can be never able to satisfy our ego as well. Always there is someone who is bigger than me. How much we try, there will be someone, at least after 1 year, someone will be appear who is bigger than me. As an example, a cleaner of a town will think he's the lowest person there, but the mayor will think I'm the head of the um, town. But if a mayor goes to a parliament, the mayor is kind of a smallest person there. So this is how always, how much we try, how much we preparate our ego, there is always someone bigger than us. So satisfying our ego is also not a big thing. It is also unachievable. The satisfaction from desires are also not achievable. That this is why Lord Buddha has proclaimed the desires are like a mirage. How much, however we try, they're not going to satisfy us anyway. And the reason, the satisfaction of desires is created by our own thoughts, not by the things outside the world. The beauty of the things is remains as they are. The desire is a mental construct we are preparating in our own mind. So this is the different. As an example, take a if you pamper a baby, how you enjoy the seeing of a baby? You'll, with your perceptions and sensations, you are pampering a baby. Once you perceive, oh, this baby is so cute, then you'll enjoy that pleasant sensation. Then again, his eyes are so beautiful, with that perception, then again you'll realize another sensation. Or then you again perceive, oh, his smile is like my mother or father or someone else. Then again you'll make make a desire, make a uh, sensation and enjoy it. Always the desires we enjoy with our mental preparations, those desires are not in the object. That is why you might heard something, at least when you watch a movie, like a Bollywood movie, it always ended in the achievement. If you get a love story, this love story, all the obstacles they show in the movie, but after they got married, or all the when they start to live together, the movie finished. Because why? Uh, the all that exquisiteness remains, or in the before we gain it, after we achieve it, that exquisiteness vanishes. So this is what we call the mirage of desires. Always this desires fool us in this manner. And as another example, Before we gain something, we mentally prepared a exquisite world, idealistic world and enjoyment in our mind. But once it becomes a reality, that enjoyment will fade away. We can't enjoy it like the way we thought before we gain it. Let's illustrate this. If you like to become the president of India, before you become the president of India, you think, oh, being a president of a country like India is is very valuable, and so many guards are surrounded by me, and that kind of a full luxurious life. But one day, if you achieve that state, you'll realize that enjoyment will only within me only if I think about it, not really. If you're going in a road with a big guards and big parade, you can enjoy it only if you think about it. Oh, I have such and such army vehicles in front of me, and ambulance, and all the things behind me. Oh, I'm the president. Oh, people are watching me. If you think like that, you can enjoy that state, unless you can't enjoy that either. The enjoyment always remains in our mind. But if you just go and sit in the car and go with the parrot, you can't enjoy that either. Because our desires are a preparation of our mind. The sensuality prepared in our thoughts. It's not a reality. In reality, everything is just an input which arises and passes away in this very moment. In this very moment, desires, the cognitions arise and passes away. Each and everything we experience is a cognition of eye, or a cognition of ear, a cognition of a nose, cognition of a tongue, cognition of skin, or cognition of your mind. This is how the whole process works. That's why this cognitive process have a frequency. Because of this frequency, we can only um, experience it. We can only enjoy it inside of that frequency. But when we think about it, that frequency is high. It's very high when we generate our thoughts and desire about it in our mind. But once it comes to reality, it is not going to be that much enjoyable, because when it comes to the physical world, we have to experience it with cognitions of eye, cognition of ears, cognitions of body, and etc. Because this cognitive process has a frequency. It will not reach to our idealistic desire, idealistic enjoyment. So once you understand this reality, you want to find an answer to become fulfilled, to become satisfied in every aspect. To become satisfied and fulfilled in every aspect, first you should understand this satisfaction will not given by our thoughts or our verbal activities or our physical activities. What is the main discovery of the Lord Buddha? If we think about our world, um, our life, what is the ultimate truth of our life? you'll find the answer. The ultimate truth of our life is sabbe sankhara dukkha. Each and every activity is restless, is just a fatigue, isn't it? Each and every physical activity, finally, you remains a tiredness, nothing else. After each and every verbal activity, just an tiredness remains. After each and every mental construct, just a tiredness remains. You're always trying to change these physical, verbal, mental activities and seeking for a satisfaction, fulfillment. But how much you try, you'll never gonna able to satisfy yourself or fulfill yourself. Actually, we'll take some time longer to understand this because we have unfulfilled desires. Because of these unfulfilled desires, we have no time to understand the reality of world or existence. But if you really, if you have everything, or if you have many life experiences, or if you are a good philosopher, you'll realize this each and every activity not going to satisfy or fulfill me. It's only remains a tiredness and pass away. The reason is each and every activity can just give me a cognition which arises and passes away in this very moment. So after you realize these things, spontaneously you'll try to find a true way to overcome any kind of suffering, any kind of um, how to overcome any kind of unsatisfaction. For that, that is what Lord Buddha has proclaimed, the Nibbana. The Nirvana, the explanation of Nirvana is this is peaceful, this is excellent, namely the stilling of all preparations. Etang santang, etam panitang, yadidang sabbasankara samato. The stilling of all preparations. What are the preparations? Physical preparations, verbal preparations, and mental preparations. If we have a closer look to our life, each and every physical activity leads to the tiredness, no, leads to the unsatisfaction. Each and every verbal activity leads to unsatisfaction and a tiredness. Each and every mental activity leads to a unsatisfaction and tiredness. So the peace and the excellentness always remain in the stilling of these preparations, the tranquilizing of these preparations. So for that, we need Nibbana. Usually, in a samatha samadhi, in a meditative concentration like anapanasati or else, we can only achieve a state which stilled with physical and verbal activities but not mental activities. Your breath and all the physical activities will be stilled in a concentration of anapana. Your verbal constructs of mind, thinking patterns, and all the verbal preparations will be stilled in a concentration. But in a normal samadhi, mental preparations are not gonna still. That means, what are the mental preparations? Mental preparations are perceptions and sensations, sanya and vedana. While you are having a concentration of anapanasati, you have that two mental preparations that you can perceive it. Oh, I am in your subconsciousness. You can perceive. Oh, I am concentrated now, and you can enjoy that concentration. If you can perceive it or sense it, that means still you are there, the world is there. So that's why Lord Buddha shows us a path to sat- to satisfy us in a fulfilled manner. First of all, we try to satisfy ourselves with mental, physical, verbal activities, and we realized that we can't be satisfied or fulfilled with them. Then the only answer is, if we have a to path to overcome these preparations and find a way to satisfy ourselves while living, while having awareness, without being dead. If we have a way to turn off ourselves, that would be the liberation. So that kind of a thing, the liberation or nibbana is. While living, while awareness, we can turn off ourselves. I told you before in a previous sermons about the avidya, ignorance. In the deepest manner, ignorance is, we have an idea there is an independent world, an independent person who is living in the world without my cognition, without my consciousness. That means you have an idea, if I cognize or not, the Parliament of India will be there. If I cognized or not, I will be there. Even even when I'm in a deep sleep, uh, I am there, my house is there, and etc. You have an idea, if the without my consciousness or cognition, the whole world is existing, and the me also, myself also existing. This is actually called avijja. If someone asks you what really Lord Buddha teaches us is, Lord Buddha shows, teach a robot that himself as a robot. Lord Buddha teaches a machine that himself as a machine. If there's a robot who has artificial intelligence, if he gonna realize him that himself as a robot who is working with causes and effects, then he'll stop at that moment. As an example, within each and every mechanism, the ultimate truth of each and every mechanism is kind of a tiredness and suffering. If we think, you can, to illustrate this, take a phone or a laptop or something. If that have a um, artificial intelligence, what is the ultimate truth of that machinery? The ultimate truth of machines are also just a tiredness. That's why our phones overheated, showing error messages, and they are stucking. All of these because each and every mechanism, if it have an intelligence, in that manner he is suffering. So it is similar to us as well. The only religion which talks about non-self is Buddhism. There are two main categories of religions. One category is trying to preserve our soul in a heavenly realm. The other category of religions, they try to dissolve our soul from the world. But Lord Buddha's path is Understanding there is no soul to preserve or dissolve is liberation. Understanding of non-self is liberation. So, as an example, what is non-self? What you actually have to take as yours. If you think about yourself, you can only take 5 things as you, as yours, and as yourself. What are they? First one, your body. You can say, my body is I am. And then you can say, the nature of sensating. I can feel the pleasant sensations, unpleasant sensations. Those sensations are I am. And then you can say, my perceptions are I am. I am the one who is perceiving, oh, this is a woman, this is a man, this is a table, this is a wall, this is white color, this is a red color. Those perceptions, we think they are I am. In the fourth category, fourth thing, we think our thoughts are I am and myself. I'm the one who is thinking. I'm the one who is thinking. So this is the fourth one. Then we think as we are our consciousness. I'm the one who is seeing. I'm the one who is hearing. I'm the one who is sensating. I'm the one who is experiencing the tangibles. I'm the one who is thinking. This consciousness, we think this is as me. So what we can call as I am myself, just 5 things: body, sensations, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness. The five clinging aggregates, panchakanda. But Lord Buddha explained those 5 things are not you, not yours, not yourself. Because if something is I am, I must have an ability to control it. It must be under my control. If this body is I am or myself, I must have an ability to control it or wish it, or my body be like this and my body may not be like that. Or may I be much younger, or may my gray hair become black. You can't take like that. If something is yours, there must be a power of controlling under you. But this body is a cause and effect, kind of a machine, a mechanism, nothing else. This is not under your control or not under anyone's either. Sensations also like that. How much we try to control our sensations, our sadness or happiness, we'll never able to control it. Once the causes are for sadness, this mechanism becomes sad anyway. Once the causes are to become happy, this mechanism become happy. So we have no any power to control our sensations. In the next part, the perceptions also not under our control. As an example, if you fall in a love with somebody which you will never be able to marry him or her, how much you try to avoid it, but you can't stop your perceptions. You can't stop stop the love you feeling. As an example, if you fall in love for a Bollywood celebrity, that he will never look at you, but how much you try, you can't take it. How much you try to stop these perception, you can't stop that perception of love, because this perception is also not under your control. You can't control it either. And the thoughts as well. How much you try to stop your thoughts, you can't stop your thoughts. Lord Buddha is not talking about uh, being good and not being bad. How the Arahant's mentality explained in Buddhism is punya papa pahinassa. The being enlightened is a state which has no good and no bad. It's like turn off of a machine. Once the machine is turned off, there is no good, there is no bad. In the enlightened mindset. So the thoughts also, we are going to understand these bad thoughts or good thoughts are not me, not I am, and not myself. I can't control it. And the sensations, then the consciousness also like that. If our consciousness is I am or myself, I must have an ability to control it, to filter it. As an example, if you hear some other sounds of birds singing while listening to my sermon, if your consciousness is yours, you must have an ability to filter it. May I only hear Bhante's sound and may I not hear the singing of the birds or some other sounds? You can't take like that because the consciousness is not under your control. The whatever the thing which comes to your ear, this machine will recognize. Whatever the things comes to these cameras, these eyes, machine will recognize. This is how our mechanism works. So again, we can come to the idea of avijja. I'll ask you a question. Is there a world behind you? Is there a wall behind you? You might say yes. Then I'll ask, if you watch or not, does the wall exist? You might say yes. Then I ask you again, if you think about it or not, does the wall exist? Then you'll say yes, of course. Then I ask you again, if you tell, if I see or not, watch or not, wall exist, is that a reality? Is that a truth? Or a concept, a thought in your mind? Actually, it's a thought in your mind. But if you say, no, it's a reality, then I'll ask you again, that concept of that is a reality is also a reality or just a thought just arised in that moment. Lord Buddha is not asking us to, he's not telling us there is no world. He's not told like that. He just asks us to understand our thoughts as thoughts, reality as reality. Once the robot is looking in front of the looking in front, always the behind wall is just a thought of him. It's just data which comes to his mechanism with the memory. What I'm telling is, take your thoughts as just thoughts. Take your cognitions as just cognitions. No, don't fantasize it. You know the first step to liberation? The first step to liberation is yoniso manasikara, the penetrative attention. What is yoniso manasikara? Yoniso manasikara means paying attention to the starting point. Yoniso mean, yoni mean in Pali language, it's a synonym for the vagina. So it's talking about starting point. The manasikara mean paying attention to the starting point. It is not talking about any other thing. It's talking about the starting point of our experiences. What is the starting point of our experiences? Is just a consciousness. After we cognize, our mind shows us a duality, a world and me, not before it. After you cognize my sound, your mind shows you a duality. Oh, here's Bhante's sound and here's I am. But before you cognize my sound, there was no my sound or me inside of you, in your mind. May I ask you a question? Do you have a nose? Is that nose arise in your mind? Isn't after the cognition of your mind. Until that, in your world, you didn't have a nose. This is like that, just asking a robot to keep his concepts aside and be aware to his experiences in this very moment without any distractions of conceptual thinking. The penetrative attention again. Oh, the illustration of consciousness which Lord Buddha has given in the Pena Pindupama Sutta. Lord Buddha said, Mayupamancha Vijnana. Vijnana is a magician. He is not only, usually a magician shows magic only from the front side. But Lord Buddha explains this magic of the magic of Vijnana is like a man who is showing magic in a uh, in a four road junction. He he's that much of a proficient man. No one can understand his magic because he can show magic for the front people, side people, and the bottom people. That much is effective. Why Lord Buddha said like that? Actually, the mind known world and me always arise after a consciousness. But after the consciousness, the mind known world, mind known outside, and mind known myself arise in our mechanism. But it convinces you, it manipulates you, these outside and inside were existed even before I cognize it. That's why the vijnana is a magician. The consciousness is a magic. Actually, the world and me creates insight in a robot after input, but it shows us before that input, the world and me existed. This is like that. I always took this example. When we create a robot, as a simple analogy, we put two cameras to his eyes and two microphones to his ears and some sensors to the skin. Then we turn on him without programming. If we turn on him without programming, he'll never be able to um, how will be his mechanism? It will be just taking inputs, no processing or no outputs. Even someone going to hit him with a pole, it is also just an input for him. Once he going to hit him, it is also just an input because he is not programmed yet. Then for have a work from that Robert, we should program him. To program him, first of all, we have to convince him that himself as a separated, unique personality accept the world. For that reason, how we gonna program him? We are programming him that after each and every input, divide the duality called outside and inside in his mechanism. Once he have a sound as an input, then we program him to divide the duality. Oh, this is the sound. Oh, this part is I am who listened. Once some input comes to his camera, we program him. Oh, this is what I got, and this is what I am. This is how this duality begins, and after that, in this duality also, we again program him not to realize that this duality divides after recognition. We convince again this duality were there before even I cognized. Actually, after my sound cognized by yourself, your mind shows you a sound and a listener. But how it convince you? It convinces you this sound and listener was existed even before I cognize it, isn't it? That's what the Vijnana is a magician. So, as the first step to liberation is penetrative attention. Pay our attention to our mechanism, to inside of us. We always pay our attention to the outside. The actual thing I'm seeing, as actual thing I'm hearing, the actual problem I'm thinking. That's how always your attention goes to outside, then it comes to inside. But Lord Buddha invites you to pay your attention to your mechanism. If we pay attention to the inside, you can just see a river of cognitions, series of consciousness. Or cognize a sound, cognize a paying it, then your attention goes to a sound, attention goes to a visual, attention goes to a tangible, or taste, or smell, again thought, a series of cognitions you can experience. This is how the first step to liberation is started. However, today I'm going to teach you a meditation technique which is called Panchakanda Anatta. That means discerning non-self of our five clinging aggregates. Discerning the nature of non-self. We are going to discern it from our body, our sensations, our perceptions, our thoughts, and our consciousness. How we are going to do it? First, you have to understand this body is not me and not mine and not myself. Because I can't control this body to, and I can't wish for my body to be like this and not to be like that. So this body is not me. You can discern it. Body is not me, not mine, not myself, because I can't control it. And it's a mechanism because of the past karma and a DNA from the parents and the food I ate. This is how this body works, and this is not me, this is not mine, and this is not myself. Actually, this meditation technique described in Anatta Lakkana Sutta. You might heard about it. Lord Buddha started that sutta. Rupam bhikkhave anatta, rupancha hidam bhikkhave atta abhavissa, naidang rupanga padaya samvatteya. Because monks, this body is not you, not yourself. If this body is yours, it will not make you in trouble. You might have an ability to control it. But monks, if this body is, because of this body is not yours, not yourself, you can't control it. So that manner, you can always sit in a chair with a um, straight spine and just discern this body is not me, not mine, and not myself. I can't control it. You want to realize it with whole your heart. This body is not me. It is just a causes and effects, just a mechanism. Uh, it's not. It's not a preparation of mine, or not a preparation of a god as well. It is just a cause and effect. What are the causes? In the simplest manner, past karma and the DNA from parents and the food I ate. That's how this machine works. Then you can contemplate on your sensations. When you hear some sound, you will feel a pleasant to unpleasant sensation. If you have a tangible to your skin kind of a warmth or coldness, you can feel a kind of a sensation. You can contemplate on one sensation, then again discern it. This sensation also not me, not mine, not myself, because I can't control this sensation to be like this and don't be like that. And this sensation is not created by me and not created by anyone else. It is a cause and effect because of the contact. According to the contact, this sensation, um, the sensation uh, become different. So you can understand the mechanism of the sensations as well. Once these Once the contacts which this machine likes, it shows you a pleasant sensation. Once the contacts that your machine doesn't like, it shows you an unpleasant sensation. Because it is a mechanism. Actually, the sensation are the work of your nervous system. Once your nerves can bear, it likes it. The sensations, the contacts your nerve system doesn't like, it shows you an unpleasant sensation. This is merely a um, preparation, process, a mechanism. This this pleasant or this sadness or happiness not created by me and not created by someone else. This is just a mechanism, and this is not under my control. Or this sensation is not me, not mine, not myself. You can contemplate on a sensation and understand and discern very well. Oh, this sensation is not me, not mine, not myself. And the third manner, for the perceptions also, then you can contemplate on a perception. When you are sit on a chair or in a meditation posture, you can hear some sounds, then you will perceive, oh, this is a sound of a bird, or this is a sound of a human, the perceptions. Then you can take a perception like that and understand this perception is also not under my control. I can't change the perceptions as I want. And these perceptions are also not created by me. It is a mechanism. In the first time someone is feeded to our mentality, to our brain, this sound is from a bird. In our small time, someone feeded our memory, this sound is from a human. Once a similar sound appeared in your experiences spontaneously, this mechanism shows you this is a sound of a bird or this is a sound of a human. This perceiving process is also just a mechanism, not yours, not you, and not yourself. Then again you can contemplate on a perception and fully understand it. Oh, this is not me, this perception is not mine, this is not myself. In the fourth manner, your thoughts. Then again, you can be aware to your thoughts. If you have no thoughts, you can contemplate it. It is a little bit harder. Um, the thinking pattern of vipassana. Until now, you discern your body, sensation, perception as not yours, not yourself. This meditation process, this meditative process is also not me, not mine, and not under my control. This meditative process also not created by you, not created by someone else. Actually, someone feeded you, oh, this is Buddhism, this is non-self, you must meditate it, and we um, convinces you to do like that. Then because of it, this machine, this mechanism, doing vipassana, doing meditating according to it, this meditative process is also just a mechanism. It is also a cause and effect. So you can purely understand this meditative process is also not me, not mine, and not myself. In the fifth manner, final one, consciousness. Then you can totally be aware what you hear, what you sense. Then again, you can contemplate on one thing and understand this consciousness also, not I am, not mine, not myself. I can't control this consciousness. I can't filter this consciousness. It's not created by me or someone else. Whatever the sound is there, whatever the sound comes to this microphone, everyone can, each and everything can hear. I can't filter it. It's not under my control. This consciousness process is also a mechanism, and it is not me, and it is not mine, and it is not myself. So this is how you are gonna meditate it. After you meditate about these five clicking aggregates properly, if you do it properly, after you discern the consciousness as not me, not mine, not myself, constantly your mind become empty. Spontaneously, your mind will stop for a moment without have an ability to think. Vipassana samadhi will be there very soon. If you purely discern these five things, try it today or tomorrow, tonight. In this emptiness state, in this empty state, also you can again meditate, again vipassana it. How? Again inside that emptiness as well. This emptiness is also not created by me, not created by someone else. Because of understanding non-self, that emptiness created. Once this understanding of non-self disappeared from my mind, emptiness will vanish. So this is not under my control. This is not me. You can discern it well. Then again you can discern this sharp emptiness also not under my control. I can't take this emptiness to, oh, this emptiness stay there for 2 hours, 3 hours. You can't take like that. You can't control that samadhi also properly. Then because of this understanding of non-self, you'll attain the supreme level of meditation called stilling of all preparations. Your subconsciousness also going to stop. The ability of perceiving and sensations also become stilled if you properly insight emptiness also. While attaining emptiness by understanding non-self of five clicking aggregates, your consciousness, your thinking pattern will, thinking ability will stop for a moment. And by inciting this emptiness also as non-self, your subconsciousness also going to stop. You can't perceive or sense some anything. Like time has stopped, the concept of world will stop, and concept of I will stop. While living, while awareness, you can turn off yourself from each and every aspect of the world. That is called Nibbana. That is called Nirvana. And the first time you can turn off yourself is called being Sotapanna. Is called being a stream enterer. After that, your mind always try to become turned off. Again and again, the scale of your mind going to uh, the weight go to the being turned off. When its weight become more and more, you always try to be turned off and not to doing the preparations. Then you can attain the next fruit, sakrudagami, anagami, and arahant one day. What is the realization of arahant? Akuppa cheto vimukti. What is akuppa cheto vimukti? Akuppa cheto vimukti means um, non unbreakable unbreakable realization, unbreakable turn off of your mind. In the Sotapanna state, stream enter state, that stillness of mind will disappear within few minutes. But if you practice this being turned off again and again, one day, within 7 years, according to the Satipatthana Sutta, you will able to uh, turn off your mind without breaking it again at any day, ever. So this is called Nibbana. So I wish you all to attain Nibbana in this very life. You may all have the strength and a correct guidance to attain Nibbana as soon as possible in this very life. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhante. Bhante, there is one question in the chat box.
Yeah.
Question is that, Bhante, but when look into the resource of earning bread examples, and we need problems in job, and then we are mentally affected, then it's a desire or need. We lose our mental calmness. So how to deal with it, Bhante?
The best thing, usually there are three ways to meditate. First one is called Samatha Pubbangama Vipassana. First do Samatha meditations and then insight meditations. The second one called Vipassana Pubbangama Samatha. First do Vipassana and secondly do concentration. The third way is Yugananda. That means parallelly doing Vipassana and Samatha. Usually for wise people, my priority, my preference, I always prefer to go with Vipassana Pubbangama Samatha with my Sri Lankan meditators, not from, actually I'm not starting meditation from Anapanasati or from Samatha meditations. So as a busy person, as a busy lay people, uh, I think it's rather better to go with a Vipassana meditation at least half an hour per, two half an hours per day. I just invite to meditate, insight meditation for, as I described, last 15 minutes. If you do it 15 minutes in morning and 15 minutes at night, you will have within 2-3 weeks, you will realize a huge relief of your mind and huge distance with your problems. Problems will be there and I will be here. No problem. You just faced your life spontaneously. And one day you will realize, oh, I want to give up this all, and I want to prefer the peace of mind. I want to prioritize the peace of mind. At that day, you can relinquish all the things. Until that, you can just inside the reality. This insight of reality leads you the peace of mind while you are in a lay life. So that's better to start meditations at least 15 minutes twice per day, because doing only a concentration, a tranquilizing meditation is not enough to overcome these states. Actually, starting with mindfulness is acceptable for every person, not only the wise ones, but it will take a huge time to progress. But for wise people, actually can start with vipassana. But the thing is, starting with vipassana will not take a long period to tranquilize your mind, because if you understand, if you realize this concept of non-self properly, very quickly your mind will be stilled, and you can face anything spontaneously, and anything will not bother in your mind. The problems will be there, and you can be here. That's how I think.
Thank you, Bhante.
And another thing I have to inform, actually, uh, I published a book called The Liberation Manual with all these concepts and meditation techniques in Amazon. You can purchase it in Amazon.India. Um, it can be delivered to your house. If you can read in English, please take that book and read. And or else, if you come to Sri Lanka, I can give some copies to send you there. That will be much cheaper.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you so much.
Anything else?